Salam.
In the story of Prophet Musa and Prophet Khizr in Surah Al-Kahf, Prophet Khizr was commanded by Allah to kill an innocent child. How is this just when it is morally wrong to kill a child and before he had even committed a crime? Does this not reflect the Ash'arites' interpretations of divine justice, that it is only just because Allah said it is?
Thank you very much. You can mention even a case maybe greater than that case, because that child was going to create troubles for his parents. We have another case, and that's Ismail. Ismail was not going to create any trouble, but still God said to Ibrahim to slaughter him. Is it zulm, an innocent child like Ismail, to be slaughtered? Again, this is not zulm, because as we said, no one has any right over God. So God has given us life. He can decide whether this life should be for 5 days or 50 years or 100 years. So if God decides to terminate my life, whether through his generative actions or through legislative actions, this is not an act of injustice. There must be a maslahah for it. Yes, that's a matter of wisdom of God. There was a maslahah, there was a great interest in asking Abraham to slaughter Ismail. There was a great maslahah in what Khizr did to that person. But it's not a question of God being unjust. What is important is that no one other than God can make such decisions. We don't have a right to say, because this person in future is going to create troubles, let's stop him from now. No one has this right. Because people, first of all, may change. Maybe this person becomes a better person. Secondly, if we allow people to act upon what they guess can happen in future, then there will be chaos. So, we go in our normal life by what we call zahir, according to the apparent situation. Someone, as long as has not yet committed a crime, he is not going to be punished or to be stopped. But God the Almighty, He has a control over our life, and He can decide to take our life away when we are going to be definitely criminal, or even if we are not going to be criminal, but for a greater cause like Ismail. So we have to distinguish between what people are supposed to do and between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has a full right over our lives.
Assalamu
Alaikum assalam.
You mentioned justice of God. You mentioned if you want wisdom, we should go to Hawza for 30, 40 years. How is it just of God to do this if, say, we're living in the West, say, a father's very busy with their family, how can he have time for Hawza? For example, could you please clarify?
Then we invite someone to teach you. But we have to be humble. We shouldn't expect to understand too much. Yeah. So depending on how much you have dedicated your life to learning, then inshallah you can understand a little bit. Even our greatest scholars, they have never claimed they understand everything, or they understand most of the thing, or they understand 50% of the thing. No one has ever said such things. They all say we know very little. Our knowledge is very, very limited. Allah says in the Quran, وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. We know very little. So the best thing you can learn is that you have to be humble in your claim of knowledge. Anyone who says, I know everything for me is clear, I can make decisions very clearly, you are clearly wrong, this is a problem. This shows that there is no humbleness. True knowledge comes with humbleness. There is also a story that one person, I think was Jahiz. Jahiz is a person known for his, Arabic literature. So one day he was sitting on minbar and someone asked him a question. I think a lady asked him a question and he said, I don't know. Then asked another question and he said, I don't know. Then a third question, I don't know. So he said, why you are sitting on minbar? He said, I am sitting on minbar based on what I know. If I was going to sit based on what I don't know, my minbar should be in the sky. I have come this much higher because my little is only this much. If you want to fix my position based on what I do not know, then I have to have a minbar in the sky. So we are all very limited in knowledge, very, very limited in our knowledge. But even limited knowledge helps. Imagine in a dark desert is someone with a torch. That helps. Everyone goes, next to a person who has a torch. But this is a torch. This is not sun shining. This is not a star shining. This is just a torch. But that torch is to be appreciated. Yes. I agree. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I was just wondering how you think we should think about the idea of justice in parallel with the idea of Allah's mercy. So, for example, if I'm thinking about the sins that I've committed, I would hope that Allah would be merciful towards me, and that if I repent, that maybe that would mean that I shouldn't be punished for them. But at the same time, if someone's been a much better Muslim than me, and has committed much better acts and not committed the sins that I've done, then in terms of justice, I should be punished for that. So how are we supposed to think about Allah's mercy versus the necessity for having sort of punishment as a sense of justice?
Yeah. Thank you very much. The main principle is that good people and bad people should not be treated the same. أَفَمَنْ كَانَ مُؤْمِنًا كَمَنْ كَانَ فَاسِقًا لَا يَسْتَوُونَ. Okay, this is the main principle. They should not be treated the same. Those who have been pious and those who have not been, they shouldn't be treated the same. But this doesn't mean that necessarily one of them should go to hell, the other should go to heaven. It can be the case. It can be that one of them goes to a lower level of heaven, for example, and to a higher level of heaven, or someone doesn't go to heaven, just is saved from hell. Because we have people who are neither in hell nor in heaven, they are in Araf. Anyway, there are lots of possibilities for treating people based on justice, but not necessarily punishing one. It can be with punishing, it can be with forgiving, but giving lower level, it can be by doing something for them in dunya. What is important is, مَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. This is a principle. God, for sure, as much as possible, helps us not to go to hell. Because even for God, if a person goes to hell, is not something that, is his plan. The plan of God is everyone should go to heaven. Do you think any, for example, city council makes the city in order to have prison? No. But we have to have prison. We want, housing. We want a hospital. We want library. We want the schools. But we have also to have prison. But if all people go to prison, we don't say it's a good town because people go to prison. For God, the plan was to give people everything that they need, guidance, inspiration, everything so that they go all to heaven. If all humanity goes to heaven, there would be no problem. There is no shortage. It's not that they say, okay, we have only limited space. We don't have any space. No. The plan is everyone should be helped to go to heaven. But there are people who don't want. Even if you offer mercy, they say, we don't want. Nuh alayhi salam said to his son, Ya bunayya irkab ma'ana. My dear son, come to this ship and be saved. He said, I don't want to be saved. I don't want you helping me. Sa'awi ila jabalan ya'simuni min al-ma. I will know what to do. I will go on top of a mountain. I don't need your ship. I don't need rahmah from you and from your Lord. What can you do? Can you take him as hostage and bring him to the ship? You cannot force people. So, there are people that they themselves prefer not to go towards the mercy of God. They want to be on their own. Like imagine if a person has been staying for a long time in darkness. Imagine if someone has been in darkness for a few hours. Completely dark. And then all of a sudden you switch on the light. What would he say? Just switch off, switch off. It's hurting me. There are people who are used to darkness. If you offer them light, they say it's bothering us. The Quran says there are people that when they hear the name of God, اشْمَأَزَّتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ, their heart becomes full of dismay. They don't like God. They don't like mercy of God. They don't like anything good coming from God. These are the people that they choose for themselves to go to hell. You know, Quran talks very beautifully about people's relation with hell and heaven. When it comes to heaven, Quran says, سِيقَ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا رَبَّهُمْ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ زُمَرًا. Okay? They are led towards heaven. سِيقَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا رَبَّهُمْ إِلَى جَهَنَّمَ زُمَرًا. The people who are also denying and rejecting God deliberately, they also are led towards hell. Okay. So they are both led. But in another ayah says the nature of this leading is different. Although they are both led, but in a different way. When it comes to hell, says وَبُرَّزَتِ الْجَحِيمُ لِلْغَاوِينَ. Hell just becomes obvious for those who are misguided. What does it mean? It means they are in hell, just it will be known to them that they are in hell. They are not put in hell. They are in hell, just we let them know that they are in hell. But when it comes to muttaqin, أُزْلِفَتِ الْجَنَّةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Heaven is brought near muttaqin. So, we are going to heaven with the help of God, but we are not pushed by God to hell. God just tells us that you are in hell. You understand the difference? So, if you go to prison, you go by yourself. But if you go to universities, by the help of the teachers, by the help of the school and authority. So, God is not sending anyone to hell. Of course, we can, as a Tawheed Af'ali, say God is sending. But in reality, it's you. You are putting yourself into hell. Yes, those who go to heaven, it's from God, because that needs guidance from God, blessing of God. Sometimes I use this example. Imagine on a very busy road, and cars and trucks all are, going very fast. You are walking with your child, who is very naughty, full of energy, naughty, and wants to, experience everything, adventurous. So, this is very dangerous. You tell him to be very careful, very dangerous. Also, you hold on his hand. Okay, you hold on his hand. Then, all of a sudden, he jumps and runs away from you and gets hit by a car or truck. Who is responsible? You warned him, you took his hand, but he rebels and runs away and gets killed. Of course, you feel very bad. But you are not responsible for this. You did everything possible. So the people who say, we don't want the guidance of God, who run away from God and end up hurting themselves, they should only blame themselves. They should not blame God. They should not even blame any person. They should blame only themselves. Yes.
Sorry.
So,
You mentioned that Adalat is very Shia thing, and that we needed to have this as a Shia Usuluddin. I just wanted to know more about why we needed to differentiate so much the Shia identity, and why we needed to say, okay, Adalat is one of the Usuluddin, as opposed to being, okay, this is an extra thing. Why was it made one of the core components?
there are two things. One is the significance of Adalah. As I said, it's the basis of many other things. Basis of your moral system. It's basis of your ability to be able to prove religion. So it's very central position. But also, it was a way to identify yourself. Because when there are lots of debates, lots of theological controversies, people should know what is their identity. Otherwise, people can get affected by other ways of thinking, by other schools of thought. So, in order to be able to identify who are the people to whom they can associate in theology, who are the people who are on the same line, so they had to identify themselves through certain means. One was through leadership, one was through theological doctrines. Now, alhamdulillah, we have been established. Now it's after 14 centuries. So we have lots of things to refer to in order to understand ourselves and understand our identity. But when the schools of thought were in the process of formation and development, if they were not careful, they could easily be affected by other people. They could go to different directions. So it was very important to establish this clear identity. And alhamdulillah, in the time of Imam Sadiq, Imam Baqir, our fiqh was established. In the time of Imam Raza, our aqidah was established. But at the beginning, it was very difficult. Even Shia were being affected. Some Shia stopped with 4 imams, some Shia stopped with 5 imams, some Shia with 6 imams, some Shia with 7 imams. But after Imam Raza, there was no separation, no split, because aqidah was established by that time. But nowadays, we have to be careful. Because in the past, we had some people who split. Some movements came as heretical movement out of Shia Islam, as have come from other ways, schools of. But we have had branches out of Shia Islam. I don't want to mention names. You know some of them. And in future, this also can happen. So maybe they don't deny these 5 principles, but on many other issues, they may totally differ from the mainstream Shia. And this is why we emphasize on necessity of referring to our maraj', to our ulama, to our hawza, because if we are not careful, then God forbids, we may see new, schools forming within the 12ers. We have to be very careful, especially now that the community is spread all over the world and people are speaking different languages, but our traditional ways of communication between the central body and the community has not developed as fast as the spread of the community. Still we have problems in communication. Then this time is very dangerous. Now it's not that everyone can easily communicate to his marja or to a great ulama. There's problem of language. There is a spread of the community. There are new challenges. So in this time, it's very important for us to be always trying hard to connect to the main sources of knowledge. Despite languages, we should overcome the barriers caused by language, by distance, so that inshallah the same message that we kept receiving from our marajat in the last 1,000 years and more, inshallah we keep receiving. It's not only on marajat to send message, it's also on us to receive the message. This is not something that we say, okay, we are here, they should send to us their message. No, you have also, if you are thirsty, you should go also for water. You don't expect people to come and give you water and say, 2 spoons of water I put in your mouth. We should also go and try to get the knowledge, which is water for our soul, from pure sources. This is very important. Alhamdulillah, UK, we are in a very good condition because, alhamdulillah, distances are shorter and we have many ulama, we have connection, we speak English, which is nowadays a language which is common. But imagine if someone speaking all those languages, Portuguese, Spanish, I don't know, many other languages, It's very difficult for them to communicate. German, all those languages. And maybe no one is there in Qom or Najaf who would be directly communicating with them. So our community has to quickly equip itself with a very robust and reliable ways of communication, so that the true message comes and challenges are sent, guidance is sent, all is like a blood circulation. Between heart and all cells of body, always circulation is there. It's not just body is getting blood and not sending back, or heart is just sending and not getting back. Everything should go around. This is the way that the community of Ahlul Bayt should function, as a one body with circulation to all over the body. I just want to mention one example, a story, beautiful story. Imam Musa Sadr, who unfortunately for many years, is in a kind of state we don't know what happened to him. He gave a lecture in Qom before revolution. And there are many good points, he mentioned. One of the things I always remember, he says, in Lebanon, there are sometimes villages which are all Christians, sometimes there are villages which are all Muslims, sometimes they are mixed. He says there is one village that has only one Christian family. Only one Christian family. And he says every Sunday a priest comes to that village and runs, Mass, Eucharist, only for that family. What does it show? This shows that first, the church is aware of every single Christian family. It's not that they don't know they exist. And secondly, they have planned in place that a priest every Sunday goes and visits them. Because they are in a fragile situation. If they don't receive, this in an environment that they are surrounded by non-Christians, they may lose their faith. So every Sunday, one priest goes there. How far we are from that stage that for every single Shia family, we have an imam that visits them every week. So you can see the difference, the distance. So we have to work hard, and we cannot blame others. We have to see what I can do to improve. If you want to blame others, nothing will happen. Everyone should see what he or she can do to improve. That's the way we can, inshallah, make progress.